Well, hello and welcome back to Sewing Notion Sunday. We're going to do something a little different, a little fun, I think. I'm going to put this down. We are going to emboss. And here's what we are going to do. Here's what you're going to need. Here's what we're going to do. You need some stamps. And I have some sewing related stamps. I have some other ones that aren't sewing related. And these are some I've already got going that I tested for the moment. I do have some Parisian stamps, so I didn't need to pull those out as well, because I thought we might want to use those. And then I've got a rubber stamp with some just writing on it. And then this little postmark. So we got those two. I did grab out, this is some of my homemade alcohol mica sprays, a couple of colors of Distress Oxide spray. I finally said that right. And this is just a spray bottle with watered down Mod Podge. Then, what else will you need? Maybe a stamp block if we're going to use these cling stamps. And you're going to need some fabric, pattern tissue. But if you don't have that, not to worry, not to fret. You can use, well, I'm hoping, because I haven't tried this yet, tissue paper, paper towels, toilet paper. I think any of those will work. Here's what we are going to do. We are going to emboss. And what is going to happen, and by the way, I forgot, a special shout out to everyone. I got so excited. I'm getting ready for my live sale and I had a little bit of time. So I snuck in here to do a quick video. But I want to thank all of you who come to the live sales, who purchase from me, help support my small business. You are the bomb. And if you're new, well, I like to do a lot of crafting, experimenting, junk journaling, DIY, and thrifting for vintage treasures. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our stamps. Now, you could use anything. You could use stencils. You could use things found around your home. But today we're going to concentrate on rubber stamps and cling stamps, clear stamps, if you will. And we're going to create some embossing papers with pattern paper. And we're going to try it with some others. And we may even color it. All right. So here's what I thought I would do. Let me just show you. Let's just use some. This is toilet paper, but I did try it with paper towel as well. Works fabulous. So let's just do these two with, let's see. Let's do this one with toilet paper and let's do this one with tissue paper and see what happens. So what I did is I'm going to take two of these and kind of overlap them just so they are good to go. And then I'm going to spray it with the glue mix. Glue, water, mostly water, just a little bit of glue. Then you're going to take something. You could use well, no, don't do that then. You could use your hand. I'm just going to use a stippling brush. You could use, you probably could use, a toothbrush maybe. Something just to tap this down. Now, the other thing that you could do, but I think for me it's a little more messy, so I'm not going to do it. Put your papers, whether tissue paper, sewing paper, whatever, on a surface first, layering it up, spraying each surface, and then just press your stamp. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Press your stamp down and leave it. But I'm going to do some of these before my live sale so that they can dry. And then I will, like magic, like television magic, I will go away. And when I come back, we'll see what the result is and if we're happy with it. Many of you probably have already done this. I have not, so I thought I would try it. And I just kind of like the look of ripping this off. And what I'm nervous about. So again, this is one of those, it could be a tutorial if it turns out fantastic. If it doesn't, well, we're just going to go with, it's an experiment that we're playing with. Okay, so I've got those two on. And I'm going to add a couple more. Here's where you can kind of press it down after it's. So we shall, and I don't know. if this is 1-ply or 2-ply. I'm guessing 2-ply. It does have some butterflies on it. So I don't know what's going to happen with... This is toilet paper. I did use paper towel too, which also has kind of a design on it. And we're just going to play with these and keep layering up and popping these down. So essentially, right now, I have... On part of this, I have 4 layers of the teepee. And I think we want several more because, see, mine's not even-ish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one of those up there and one down here to kind of even it up. And I'm going to just, whoops, spray it again. And just keep going. We'll see what happens. This will be kind of cool if it turns out because it's that postage stamp one. And if we wanted, we could put some, well, do I have a spray? I don't think I, let me see. If I have a, this looks like it needs a little more. Now, this is what I started to say. What I'm a little worried about, because I've never done this, is, and that is a glue water mixture, what happens if it gets stuck to my stamp? But it's the risk I'm willing to take for you guys today. All right, I'm going to do one more layer. See how that, now you can kind of see it. Should we try to put, let's just try this. I don't know what it would look. It's not all actually mixed up. Let's see. This is the mica. A lot of times when you, I should have had this laying on its side a long time ago. A lot of times when you first spray it, it doesn't really show up. I guess that doesn't look too bad. We're going to get the sides of this where it's not embossed. And what we'll do is just add a little more glue and one last layer. I don't know if it's going to come through to the top. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that I have to do this video and I don't really have mica sprays all over. So I'm just going to do this first to see if we need. Okay, let's do this. And I only did this on that last 2 layers, so I don't know if that's going to work either. And what the reaction will be with the alcohol in here. Like I said, it's experimenting. Oh, I could have used coffee on this. We'll do that on this one. Maybe just use white tissue instead of a colored tissue. And you just make sure you get all down in there and all those little dips and divots and grooves. And then you set it aside. So here's the other 2 I did in advance. So this one is just a floral. And then this one is one set of all those sewing notions, if you will. All right, let's do one more before we start playing with the sewing pattern. And we're just going to try this plain white tissue. Okay? Okay. So what I didn't do was rip this. Let me see. Let me get my... We're going to try it this way. Let me do a couple. Let's see, 2, 4, that's 6 sheets. We'll see how that does. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this real easy. And I'm going to get out some, is this coffee? Yes. Some coffee. I had a question about the coffee and the tea. And I also have rust spray. I put a little tiny, a drop or 2 of alcohol in with my coffee so it doesn't get nasty. No mold. Okay, this is, I don't know what this is going to do because it's whole, ooh, thing of words, but I guess we'll find out. I might have got too much glue on that. It's okay, we'll just, and I don't know exactly how many sheets I probably need for this particular tissue. Let's just put this one down over it. See? Ooh, ooh la la. Let's do that, and then let's add a squirt of just like that. And then you just pounce it. You could use, if you have like a paintbrush, that would work. You could use, if you have a, like a basting brush, preferably one that you don't use in your kitchen. You could use that. And then we're just going to add another layer, and I just kind of kept these folded. This one I'm going to, before I actually spray this, I'm going to pop this down a little bit in the grooves. Now, the risk here is that it's not all wet, so there is a risk of ripping the paper, but that's a risk we're going to take today. And then we'll spray our... And again, if you don't have rubber stamps, if you don't have blocks and all you have is stencils, you know, you can just spray your pieces, lay your stencils on it, and then you could just use a brayer. Like, you could just go over it like that, just to press it down on your stencil. Or you could use a rolling pin if that's what you got from your kitchen, a pastry blender, whatever works. And I'm just kind of pouncy, pounce. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Now, you'll be watching this after the live sale, so I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with. And just a note that I'm really excited about. I will be doing my first hard goods, so that's like kitschy, vintage, antique pieces, hard goods, so, you know, home decor, things like that. Maybe a few pieces of antique ephemera as well. With my friend, Heather Elizabeth, who is, her channel is Antique Agenda. And I have to say, I always want to call her Heather Marie because my cousin's name is that. And so I always mess up and I start to say Heather Marie. It's Heather Elizabeth. And she has a great channel, so check her out. We've got some fun stuff coming. In fact, this morning I just met with her. And we talked about what we're going to do for our live sale. See, you can also brush this. Just see how I'm doing that. Just to kind of layer it on there if you don't want to touch it like I didn't. Now, I bet, well, I don't know. I think you could probably do this without using the glue. I guess when we come back after I take my time out and it's all dry, and one of them, if one of them doesn't come off, we will know. Don't do that. I probably won't unveil these until tomorrow. So I'll let them really, really dry. So hopefully if they, I guess it's nothing that a little scrubbing couldn't do, right? It's just a stamp. I love how that looks when you do that. Okay, so we've got the tissue. So if you don't have a sewing pattern, you can always hop over on my Etsy shop and I have some in there. All the tissues, if that's all you need. But if you don't, you can use some tissue paper. You can use some toilet paper. You can use paper towels. What else could you use? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I was thinking about textiles. Like, what kind of textiles could we use? That has a little bit of a bubble. I'm going to give it one little spray just for added vintage, and we're going to set it aside. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get to the sewing notion fun of it. And what I got out is this old cheapo, I don't know where this came from. Not this. This came from. But it is a cutting board, and it's plastic. And what I thought I would do, just like I did on that one, is we're just going to load this up. Like I said, this is all an experiment. I have not done this before, so we'll see how it turns out. But we're going to put all this stuff on here. And then we will have all kinds of little pieces and parts that we can take apart for clusters or on journal cards, or we can paint them after they're dry. I think. I don't know. But I thought this would be something a little bit different, kind of fun, pretty easy with things that most of us have. I mean, if you don't have stamps, not to worry. Oh, there's one in here. What is that? There are plenty of things you could use. You can make dots by using like a pizza pan that has holes in it. You could use, where was this? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. What else could you use? Oh, a pot holder that has holes in it. You could use, we're going to separate these a little bit. You know, the plastic, silicone ones. You could use, I'm trying to think of your kitchen. You could use, oh, I've got some of that, like, sticky, it's rubber, but it's like what you would put to keep things from coming off your, like shelf liner or something like that would possibly work. I guess those are supposed to be needles. I'm not going to use those. Those are just a little too tiny. Trying to separate these so they're far enough apart. Well, let's get this girl on here because she's got to take a place on stage here. Come on. You guys tell me in the comments. What other things could we use? Well, I don't know. There's some, I don't know if this would work. I'm not a baker. What's this say? Love you. What about, like, could you use, I bet you could use cookie cutters. Like, I'll show it. Wonder if I have one handy. I have cookie cutters that are plastic and they've got the shape. So I think you could do it. You could press it in there. I bet it would work. Here's another sewing machine. We'll give it its place of glory there too. Tell me in the comments, what other things am I missing? I'm sure there's lots. But I think when you guys start doing this, like, I feel like if I didn't have that sale today, I could go all day to doing these. So we'll put this Paris one on here. And maybe one big one. We'll do this. I don't think I've ever used this before. Okay. All right. We've got everything out. Now, all we're going to do, just like we did, I'm so excited to see how this turns out. This was my idea. And then I thought, well, I better try it with some other things besides this to see if it works. before I go using all my pattern paper. Okay. I'm just trying to pull this apart a little bit. Can I do it? I don't know. No. You know what? We're just going for it. We're going to do it this way. And then I'll just fold it over and I'll rip some off at the top and then we'll do another sheet. I mean, why get all crazy? I just hope I have enough for this big piece, or for the big cutting board to cover it. I would say at least, how many did I do? 2, 4, 6, at least 6 times. And I mean, if you want something a little bit more sturdy, then just keep going. And 8, 10, I don't think that it would. And truthfully, if this works using this cutting board, I think this would be my go-to instead of using my blocks. Because you, A, cover a whole lot more ground, and B, if you ruin this little cheapo thing, it's not a big deal. Some of these, like, really are really detailed, so we'll see what happens. Hey, get them all? Okay, now we're just gonna... Oh, look at that. What was I worried about? What was I worried about? I'm trying to decide if we should put any tea or coffee on it. I think we just want to leave that. Let's just leave this for our first one. That's going to say cutting. If it turns out, it's going to say cutting right through Paris, which that'll be kind of cool. You guys see that okay? I think you can. I'm really trying to pounce it into those tiny little, like, see this... I don't know, it seems like with the paper towel and the toilet paper, it worked way better. But let's not give up on it yet. I want this to work because I think it would be cool. Okay, now we have another sheet and a half that's coming over the top of that. So we're just going to have to really... There we go. I will say, I've used a lot of that, this out of that little sprayer. Almost all of it. I'm just going to go around the outside first. How many did I do? I think it's only like 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this back onto itself and then add some more. This will be cool though. Taking a risk here, guys. Because these aren't all together, what I'm risking is ripping it. Okay, let's just all this. We don't need that. Let's get another piece here. And all we're going to do is set it aside, and then we'll patiently let it dry. And magically, the world of videography, we will come back and see our results. This is very fun. I do have to say that. All right, we're going to give this a squirt of, well, what we're going to try. Just for the fun of it. Let's try this down. I think this is a sewing machine down here. We'll pounce that one last. I didn't think about that. Before I did it, but I don't mind if it's got a little. And I would assume, you know, because I know not everybody cleans off their stamps after every single use, but you could either clean them off with, you know, some kind of solution before you do this project, or if you kind of like the fact that maybe you'll have some ink that bleeds through, you could probably just leave it. I'm guessing it would show up fine. I also want to try something else. I'm going to stick a piece of this, since we've been messing with this. I just wonder what would happen if we use this as just kind of the base of it on the back. I'm just playing to see what happens. We'll just see. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to give it another good over. And like I said, if you don't have a brayer, a pastry blender would work fine, as would a rolling pin if you got one of those. So try that out. All right, guys, we're going to let this dry. And in just a few minutes, in your time, we will be back. Should we do a little? Let's just try and see what that looks like up there on that side. And we will see if we were successful. But until, well, never mind. I don't have to say goodbye. I'm so used to saying goodbye. All right, let's see what happens. I'll be back in just a few. All right, well, let's check out the results. I don't know why I have this here, but let me tell you, just a little something, something. Every one of these, you know how I was worried, like, oh gosh, they're gonna, I hope they don't stick to the stamp. When I left them overnight, and when I came back, they were all, literally except for one, were undone from the, they had dried up and were separate from the stamp. So not to worry on that, but look how cool this turned out. Isn't that cool? Then here's this one. And you know, I think, let's just try it. I think this would make a cool pocket, just like it is. This, one of these is paper towel and one of them is toilet paper. But I don't know which one. Okay, let's just put a little, see if we can put a thumb notch in here. Are you guys in? Yeah. Yep, it worked. Wonderful. So we have now a little pocket. We have this that we can just put on. I mean, just imagine, like, let's just use this, one of my pieces of dyed paper. And it would be cute on there. I didn't tell anybody I was doing a video right now, so we don't know what's going to happen. Here are the sewing stamps. Isn't that awesome? Also, this one's on toilet paper. here it is. And here are the words on tissue. I think this would be awesome. I mean, and this one I dyed. See, someone's home and I didn't tell them. To do a journal card, but then with a regular piece of paper, but then just tear this all willy-nilly like I am. This is, like I said, the tissue paper. Now, I will tell you, when I show you the next one, I wasn't too impressed with the sewing tissue. So I don't know if maybe it was the stamps. Maybe I should have tried to do it with like one of these instead of the really detailed ones. So maybe I'll try it again, but I'll show you what I mean. So look at that. And then, and this, remember, we sprayed coffee and all kinds of stuff on it. So then we could just make it look like torn edges, and I can rip that a little bit more too, but for right now. And look at all this you got to play with. Layers and layers. You can rip them. Oh, these are kind of together because they weren't. Just kind of manipulate. Oh gosh, I'm getting hot. I thought we were going to the venue today. So I got all ready to do that. And hey, guess what? We're not. So that means I'm solo tomorrow. I just kind of crinkle them up, rip them a little bit. Take maybe some chunks out of them. Yeah, I really like this. So there you go. You can emboss with your stamps. You don't have an embossing tool? Not to worry. If you have stamps, you're good to go. Let's try. Let's like take... I kind of got some of these close to each other, but let's just take these apart. I'm just going to take off these. I just stuck these two pieces on there because they were part of the kit. So I'm not really sure what I'll do with them, but these will go great in sewing, in my sewing or fashion journal. So I can just pull this off like that. Now it is folded in half there, so I can't do that there, but look at that. So sewing, 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 sewing. I won't do all the rest of these right now because I want to show you this. All right, so here are, I'm going to stand up to make sure you can see. Here it is with the dress patterns. So some of them turned out pretty good. The scissors turned out great. The dress form turned out great. The rest, not so much. And I just think that they were too detailed. So I tried again. And this was my second attempt, which I haven't, here, let me go over it. But this time when I did it, I wet the paper or the tissue before I put it down. Does that make sense? Like I wet it with just water. I literally put it underneath the sink and got it all wet, then laid it onto the stamps to that I had on the cutting board. And see, I just don't, and it's just not as, you know, a couple of them turned out, but for the most part, I mean, it's only the scissors really in the... So, like I said, I think that if I did this with a more substantial stamp, I think it would be okay. But here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to kind of... tear this out. Because the only ones I really liked that I could really see. See, this also didn't really stay together. So, okay. That means what I think I'll just do. I probably won't even use these, to be honest. Maybe I will. We'll put that one aside and then the scissors. The rest, nope, not so much. But hey, like I said, it was an experiment. We know we can emboss with things other than an embossing tool. And we know that, like that one, these turned out pretty good. I'll cut those out as well. And we know that it works with toilet paper. We know it works with tissue paper. We know it works with paper towels. And perhaps with a different kind of not so detailed item, it will work with the tissue paper. But, my friends, that is a video for the day. And I hope you enjoyed playing and experimenting with me. And until next time, remember to take time to just be. Cheers.